Hey, it's Miss Kelly Michelle. Welcome back to my channel. I have a special guest here from PadSplit. His name is Ellis, and he is going to talk to us about PadSplit, what the company has to offer, and give some information about the company. So welcome to my channel. Just say hello to everyone.
Thank you, Kelly. Thanks for having me.
All right, cool. So let's go ahead and jump in, and let's just talk about what is PadSplit.
Yeah, PadSplit, we are a startup, firstly. We were founded in 2018, started in Atlanta. During COVID, we decided just to go remote as a company. But we have 150 employees across our organization. We're international as well as domestic in terms of headcount. As a company, we have about 7,000 beds under our management. So essentially, we work with real estate investors who have single family rentals. Sometimes multifamily works in our model, but that's a case by case basis. But largely, it's a single family rental. We'll work with the investor to guide them through the process of converting the common areas into additional bedrooms. And then we do the rent by room management. So this is just a, kind of like an MTR strategy for investors to cash flow on their property compared to the long-term model. Compared to the short-term model, our members, that's what we call the tenants in our model. The members tend to stay 8.5 to a year and a half. So it's medium to long-term in terms of their stay with us, but you're just unlocking the potential of the single family home.
Okay. So let's start from the aspect of a person who owns a property, so the host. Whenever they are partnering with PadSplit, what do they have to do to get the property up and running?
Yes. Before the property gets the green light from us, it needs to fit our buy box. That means it should be in a non-HOA, close to public transport, close to work centers. It should have enough parking on the property itself or in the neighborhood. In terms of neighborhoods, we're talking all the way from B to C, maybe even C minus. At the end of the day, we are partnering with investors to create affordable housing stock into cities that really need it. And so usually we want these properties to be in areas where they already live and work. These group of renters already live and work.
Okay. So the one of the main purposes, and correct me if I'm wrong, you just said it, is that PadSplit is trying to basically help the housing crisis and provide more affordable housing to people out there, correct?
Yes, exactly right. Yeah, our rents are about 70% of what a studio costs in the same area. The barrier to entry into our model from the renter side is quite low. There's no credit check, but instead of that, we'll still do the traditional background criminal income checks. Instead of a security deposit, it's just a one-time move-in fee, I'm sorry. That's probably around like $100 or something around that. That's set by the host themselves. And then in their model, once they're in, they can build their credit score by paying rent on time with us.
So whenever you do the background checks, do you present that to the host and are they allowed to make decisions as far as who will be able to stay on the property, or is that totally up to you guys?
No, definitely. So we will present to the host whoever has requested to move into a bedroom, and then the host has the ability, or the property manager that works for the host has the ability to either approve or reject it. Once they make that request, you'll be able to see the results of their background checks. If they were a previous PadSplit member, you'll see their payment history or any issues that came up. We have a 3-key system that we implement. Essentially, it's a 3 strikes you're out system. So the host will be able to see those. We'll be able to see if any keys were taken away. So yeah, the host has the ultimate say in whether or not to approve somebody.
Okay. All right. So whenever someone is reaching out to you, you inspect the property to see if it fits your buy box, right? Okay. And if it fits your buy box and there are some things that may need to be done to the property, what would be those types of things that the host would be responsible for in order to make sure that everything's runs smoothly?
Yeah, good question. There's 2 phases of that. Firstly, it's the renovation phase. So usually from what we've seen, a single family home should be at least 1,100 square feet. Usually that's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath starter. And then it'll have a living area, dining area. Those areas will convert pretty easily to additional bedrooms. So you're using the existing 2 walls of the living area and the dining area. There's a window, there's an HVAC, and you're really just dropping in 2 more walls, non-load bearing, so they're easily removed. 2 more walls and a door, and then voila, you have a bedroom. Do that to the dining area as well. You have 2 additional bedrooms, and then suddenly the 3-2 becomes a 5-2, and you're cash flowing a lot more. And just without the common areas, there's no common area furniture to be damaged or stolen. There's no areas for the members to kind of invite guests over with or throw parties in. So it's intentional in our model. The group of renters that we're targeting, they're working usually full time, if not studying at the same time as well. So they're busy, they're out of the home, and they really just need a private room to live in. Sometimes they'll cook their food. A lot of them eat outside of the home as well, but they just need a place to stay, to wash themselves, and then rest and start it over again the next day.
As far as the hosts are concerned, is it up to the individual host if they want to put like maybe a personal microwave and refrigerator in each room? Is it their decision, or are you guys just advised just to have the kitchen and only deal with having that as the common area?
Yeah, we require basic furniture in the bedroom. Nothing, no cookingware allowed in the bedroom just for liability issues, just to protect us and the host as well. Mini fridges are completely fine and actually recommended in some cases, depending on, the size of the pad set, how many bedrooms there are. Anything 8 and above in terms of bedrooms, we recommend a second full fridge in the kitchen. And if you can swing it, mini fridges in their bedrooms themselves. But other than that, the basic furniture that we require in the bedrooms are bed, bed frame, mattress cover, nightstand, night lamp. If there's no built-in closet, some sort of clothing storage. Some hosts will add a couple more amenities on top of that, desk, a chair, mirror, a mini fridge. If the hosts don't provide that, the members are welcome to bring that in themselves.
Okay. All right. So coming from the world of midterm rentals and knowing everything that we have to put inside of properties for our guests to feel comfortable.
All right.
So that's pretty much why I asked you that question. But when it comes to managing these properties, right? So we have to make sure that those common areas are clean, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then who's responsible for making sure that the guest rooms are clean? And what about locks? Do you put locks on everybody's door? How does all of that work?
Yeah, good question. Before we jump into that, one more thing about the furnishings. In our model, the linens and kitchenware are not provided by the host or PadSplit. The members will bring that themselves. It's personal items. We let them do their thing. In terms of other furnishings, there's a small dining area required. That's usually just off the kitchen. A small dining table for 3 or 4 works perfectly fine, or bar seating also works well. But in terms of cleaning, we recommend cleaning to the common areas once a month. In our model, it's really just the common areas. And that includes just the kitchen, hallways, bathrooms after the conversion. Bedrooms kind of stay private. If the host wants to provide that service to do one-off room cleanings, that's available for you as an option. So the cost of the cleaning is, pretty reasonable. I got my home cleaned here. It's a 2,100 square foot home. 2 cleaners came. They cleaned for 5 hours each. They charged me $230. So, a PadSplit 1,300 square foot home, let's call it, with just the common areas, I don't know, $100, let's call it. And that's just once per month. From what we've seen, once a month is plenty. Anything more tends to build a reliance on the cleaners from the member side. They are expected to maintain the cleanliness, and they do agree to that in the membership guidelines membership agreement that they agree to.
So if the host wanted to, let's just say they wanted to provide more cleanings. Let's just say they say, oh, wait, I want to do once a week, but they want to charge more per room to cover those costs. Would that be supported by PadSplit or what? Like, is that totally like a no?
No, that's definitely okay. But, depending on which market you're in, we're in 12 core markets currently. We have robust data on pricing and occupancy and time to fill and best zip codes and all that. So we'll recommend the pricing for you. And, some hosts they might think that their property is nicer than others. It's more premium PadSplit, so they price the rooms a little bit higher. That's completely fine on the host side, but there's obviously an opportunity cost if it sits too long and doesn't rent out.
Right.
So we'll work hand in hand with the host to kind of get them to that sweet spot. And then also we have an engineering team, and they're always a product team as well, and they're always reiterating on our software. And we just introduced a feature where the host will be able to see the room's pricing against the other PadSplit rooms in the market.
Okay.
And then from there, you'll kind of see where you're at, if you need to adjust it a little bit higher, a little bit lower. Yeah, so it's a hand-in-hand process.
Okay. Yeah. So that's definitely a great tool to have.
Yeah.
So the hosts are responsible for coordinating the cleaning and still maintaining the property. So the landscaping and all of the same things you would do if you had a midterm rental or a short-term rental. So
Exactly.
all of the utilities will still be in the host name and, Wi-Fi, all of that, right?
Exactly right. Yep. So we are very similar to Airbnb in that we are the platform. So we like to say we manage the people. So we'll market the bedrooms, we'll screen the members, we'll facilitate their move-in with our tech, we'll collect money from them. Initially, it's a 31-day stay commitment, so they'll pay that up front. After that, it's week by week. So we're collecting rent from, let's call it 7 members in a PadSplit every week. You can imagine if you're doing that privately, it's depending on your systems that are in place, it could be a little daunting. And then above that, we'll manage them once they're in. So, 7 strangers moving into a pad split, different personalities, different living habits. There's going to be times where there's conflict, small things like stolen food or too much noise being caused after hours. You don't want to deal with that as a landlord, trust me. I've been in this co-living game for maybe 4 or 5 years now across 4 different companies. So in the operations side too, so I've dealt with that directly. It's a lot at times. Yeah, so we do the people management at PadSplit. That leaves the physical needs of the building to be managed either by the host directly or by another property manager.
Property manager. Okay, cool. So that makes it very, very clear who does what.
Yes,
Right?
yes. Division of labor is very clear. From the host side, in terms of communication with the members, I believe it's either 24 or 48 hours where the members have a direct line of communication with the host through our software. It's just a way to establish a relationship. It's not mandatory, it's optional from the host side. But some hosts, they want to be want to provide some hospitality and just establish that connection, which I think is great. But after that, it's closed and then it's just communication with us directly.
Okay, so any disputes go through you guys, not the host.
Yes,
right?
our side. And then our team is accessible 24/7. So we have some of our customer support team is domestic here in the US, and then some of them are actually based in the Philippines. So there's around the clock coverage. Then on that note, our marketing team is in Turkey, our engineering team is in Ukraine, so we're all over the world.
Okay. Now let's go back to the security of the property. How do you guys, or what are your recommendations or your requirements in regards to security?
Yes, good question. Yeah, I think you mentioned the locks. We recommend getting a Wi-Fi lock for the front door so it could be changed remotely and pretty quickly in case, the code leaks or what have you. For the bedrooms themselves, if you can swing it, Wi-Fi locks work well. If not, these 4-digit manual punch codes also work well. Whenever there's a move out, somebody will have to go in there to clean it anyways. So you'll just have that same person change the 4-digit code manually.
Okay.
This definitely beats key management because key management in general is a pain in the butt.
Okay. All right. So that solves that problem. Each door has a lock on it. Each person has their own security code, and then the front door has its own lock, right?
Yep, exactly. All the members are vetted for. And again, we have that 3-key system. Separate from that, we have a member-to-member review system on our software as well. So, people tend to keep each other accountable. And this model works well because if the member in, bedroom 5, let's call it, violates some of the membership guidelines that they've agreed to when they moved in, they're leaving a mess in the common areas, causing too much noise. 6 other members will report that to us immediately. So we get a handle on things pretty quickly.
Okay. So once people complain to you guys, is there ever a point where you may contact the host to get involved because, maybe they need to step in for some reason?
Yeah, depending on the severity of the issue. Sometimes, things do happen and let's say there's a issue between a member and a member. They might get violent and police are involved. At that point, yeah, we'll definitely loop the host in. We'll support however we can remotely, but when it's time for some physical intervention needed on the property level, we'll involve you.
Okay. All right. So now that we've talked about security, we're clear about that. Do you ever put like cameras or either security systems in these properties or no?
Not in. I think we want to kind of maintain this home feeling. And, a lot of our people are staying at least 8.5 months, a year and a half. So, medium to long term. And some of the members have stayed for years, actually. So we don't recommend any cameras in the interior of the home, but exterior is completely fine. Yeah, on that note, our first host here in Arizona, I'm based in Arizona. One of the members is a 63-year-old woman. She was previously living with her family and she, had a good situation, but she valued her independence, which I think is awesome. And so she moved into a PadSplit very quickly after she told the host, I'm going to stay here for life because she works as a head cashier right around the corner from the PadSplit. So she walks to work, goes back, and she's become a little bit of the unofficial house mom, which I think is awesome. And so, she keeps kind of the house maintained and she keeps everybody in line. But I think, having an older person there kind of maintains a level of respect among everyone in terms of their relationships and the property itself. So I think that's just great.
Okay. Now, as a person that is a landlord, I know about having occupancy permits and things, we have to follow whenever we're renting a property out, right? But since you're putting up additional walls and adding additional people into a property, how do you handle those occupancy permits?
Yeah, it's still a single family zoning. How it works structurally is you as the host would create an LLC. That LLC would rent out the property to PadSplits LLC. So technically you're renting it out to just one entity. From there, we'll find the members, not tenants. They're going to sign a membership agreement, not a lease. And that's intentional. I know certain cities and counties have regulations around the maximum number of unrelated occupants allowed in a single family residence. Most of the time, they don't define what it means to be related. And so we're definitely, kind of playing in this gray area. In our model, everybody is technically related under this membership. Good news is that anytime a host is faced with any occupancy or zoning related issues, definitely let us know right away. Our legal team will step in to help. If it gets to the point where they want to push it and there's a court case that needs some representation, our legal team will also help with that.
Okay. Now, again, going back to, we're adding people into a property, so that brings me back to the bathroom situation. So do you all have a certain quota as far as how many people are allowed to use one particular bathroom, so that it makes it easy? Because the bathroom is always a situation whenever you're sharing a place.
always, yeah. Maximum bedroom to bathroom ratio is 4-to-1 in our model. If you can swing 3-to-1 or even 2-to-1, that's amazing, but 4-to-1 still works in our model. From what we've seen, a lot of our members, they just have different schedules. Our service workers, some of them are working graveyard shift, or they have they work at the bar at the night. So this kind of works. When it gets a little bit tricky in terms of the floor plan itself and the renovation phase, sometimes the private bathroom will have to be turned into a shared bathroom to satisfy this 4-to-1 ratio. So you achieve that by putting up a wall in the master bedroom. You're eating into the master bedroom square footage a little bit, but you're creating a hallway and then making this private bathroom suddenly a shared one.
Okay. Yeah. So now that we've kind of talked about the house in general, you talked about being in several major markets. So right now, what are your major markets that you're in?
Yeah, I'm based in Arizona. We launched here in January and we got a few pad splits up and running just a few months ago. We're seeing some awesome demand. The first 3 pad splits were a 5-bedroom, 8-bedroom, 6-bedroom. They all took about 1 month to fill. We thought that the base rent would be around $800 per month based off of our research. But what we're seeing is that it's actually a little bit higher. It's $910 per month per bedroom. So we're seeing some good things here in Arizona. And then here on the west side, we're also in Nevada, mostly Vegas. And then we're in Texas, Dallas, Houston, Atlanta. That's our flagship market. We have about 4,000 bedrooms there, and the brand recognition is already there, which is awesome. In Florida, we're in Tampa, Jacksonville, Miami, and we're in Richmond, Virginia. And then we're considering opening few other markets in the near term. I think Baltimore is one of them, possibly North Carolina. Don't quote me on that. But in general, any city that has a major sports team is usually a benchmark for us to at least have eyes on it as a potential core market.
Okay. So you guys, you heard that. If you're in a city that he did not name, but you have a major sports team, you could potentially use the service, right?
Yeah, reach out to us. We are looking for anchor hosts, anchor clients, those with larger portfolios, so they can kind of, provide a decent amount of rooms in a short amount of time.
Okay. All right. So as far as the fees that you all take from the host, and I shouldn't say take, because you're providing a service. So let me say that a little bit better. The fees that you all charge for your service, how much are those fees?
Yeah, so we take 12% of collected rent. We'll pay the host out monthly. I think it's 5 to 7 business days after the first of the month. It takes some time for the payments at the end of the month to settle. So that's 12%. And then there's a 2.75% fee that goes to Plaid. They're the payment processing company that we use. So it's right under 15% right off the bat. And then if you were to hire another property manager, from what we've seen with some of our vendor partners, it's around 6 to 8%. So to become largely a passive investor, especially if you're out of state, it's around around 21 to 25%, let's call it. And then that has you covered from the people management side of things to the physical property management. And, all you're doing mostly is approving move-ins, move-outs, and expenses, if there's maintenance costs or not.
Okay. So whenever a new host or potential host approaches you guys, do you walk through the numbers with them so they kind of have an idea of what they can potentially make off of this property? Do you do that up front, or what would be the process?
Yeah, definitely. So, if they don't have a property and they're looking to acquire one and they're in the shopping phase, they'll share the property addresses with me. Firstly, I'll analyze the property itself to make sure it fits our buy box. Again, non-HOA, close to public transport, close to work centers, plenty of parking in mind. So I'll actually go on Google Maps, Google Earth, look at the property itself, make sure it ticks all those boxes. And then I'll look on the listing on Zillow or any of those other websites to look at the actual bedroom, bathroom count, the square footage, the pictures. And then from that, I can usually give a pretty accurate estimation of how many additional bedrooms they can add into the property itself. And then if it gets to the stage where they're interested, I can connect them with the general contractor, at least in our core markets. And then, hand in hand with the GC, I'll walk the property with them and just, kind of finalize the bid and present that to them to see if they want to move forward.
Okay. All right. So I know we talked about single family homes, and you said in some cases there may be some multifamily homes that you could do this with, right? Or any other type of maybe a commercial building or something like that. Can you talk a little bit about how people can utilize PadSplit in those type of residences?
Yeah, I don't have any direct experience with it currently. I'm fairly new to the company still, but I've heard that some of our hosts have some multifamily buildings that are that have been converted to pad splits. I think the biggest consideration is the parking, because let's say you have a 12-unit multifamily, each of them are 2-1s. You want to convert them into 3-1s for 36 total bedrooms. You can imagine if even half of them have cars, that's going to exceed the probably 12 spots that were already there.
Right.
So this is why it's really important for our buildings to be close to public transport. Only about half of our members actually have cars. And so, it's really vital for these properties to be next to public transport.
Okay. Got it. All right. So is there anything else you want to share as far as how do people get more information about the company? If they want to sign up with you guys, how do they reach you?
Yeah, email me directly, ellis@padsplit.com, ELLIS at PADSPLIT.com. I'll also share out my direct calendar booking link with you, Kelly. You can maybe share that with your network. Yeah. But we'll connect over Google Meet. I'll kind of go over a quick presentation with the potential host to give them a rundown of what we're doing, the affordable housing crisis in general, and how we're looking to tackle that. And then if they have a property in mind as well, I can analyze that with them in real time. I'll look at the property and just make sure it fits our buy box. Then I'll run top line numbers as well. I'll share with them the occupancy data on the market that they're looking to get into, the average weekly price, and then give them top line revenue numbers. And then from there, they can kind of do their underwriting to make sure this fits their model.
Okay, great. All right. So you guys, we talk about how midterm rentals, we house traveling medical professionals, different corporate professionals, all types of people, right? This is another group of people that you could potentially host in your property if you decide to use PadSplit, right? So don't just think you have to go one route. You have some options here. And if you do have a larger property where you feel like renting per room would be a better option for you in your market, this could be a great option for you to use PadSplit, okay? All right, so thank you so much for joining us today and letting us know a little bit more information about PadSplit. And you guys make sure you like and subscribe to my channel so you can see more future videos about midterm rentals and rentals in general and real estate investing, all right? So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.